Hello, good evening and welcome race clubbers to round 8 of season 5 of the Race Club Championship. I'm Rolfie and I'm going to be doing live commentary for you tonight. We are already into qualifying. We've got just 6 minutes to go. Times are coming in already, as you can see on the top left of your screen. If I sound a bit hoarse tonight, I am slightly recovering from the virus. I'm hoping it wasn't the big... Excuse me if I have a few cough breaks as we go on through the evening. Now, this is round 8. We've got 12 rounds of this championship with Race Club. Just to give you a heads up of where things are with the championship at the moment. Currently there is Donardi, who is on 241 points, but after last week's round at Donington, just 5 points behind him is Chicken Paxo. Both of those drivers are with us tonight. And then we've got quite a gap back, but then guys are quite close. We've got Bazix in third, the first of the Bentleys, and then Anun in the Mercedes in fourth. And then fifth is DB Kung, who had a good run of poles earlier in the season. And he's looking pretty sharp out there tonight. He's in second at the moment, just behind Lager, who quite often puts a time in but often doesn't race. But he's quite a racer, so I'm hoping he's going to join us tonight. And then in sixth place we have Banff, and then in seventh we have Chris V Dub, who is the magician of the controller. Doesn't use a rig like many other drivers. He actually just uses a hand controller and gets some cracking results. Has had podiums this season already. And then to round out the top 8 is Stormfly, who's a driver who has come on from being a bit steadier earlier in the season as he was getting the grips of ACC, and now he is absolutely flying. He's had at least one win off the top of my head. I think he might have had 2. He was certainly flying last week at Donington, so I would be surprised if we don't see him up there again tonight. Rounds wise, this is round 8. We've got 4 more to go after this, as I mentioned, and we are next time off to Hungaroring for a first for Race Club. We have got a GT4 race for you next week. That's going to be our usual split format of a 20 and a 40-minute race, and then we're off to Kyalami, back to Britain for Silverstone. And then we've got our 2-hour finale at Bathurst for round 12. So let's see what is happening with the times. Well, I was going to talk about whether anybody was going to be able to drop into the sub 220s, and Lager has done it already. Driver I've known for a long time, and he's absolutely flying there tonight. So 0.7 ahead of anyone else. I did when I had one of my purple patches actually almost keep up with him around this circuit, as this is one of my favourite places. But unfortunately, about lap 6, my bag of talent discovered it had a split in it, and that was the end of that particular hero moment. So here we go. We've got Bazix coming up just to complete the 3 minutes remaining. So drivers crossing the line now will be able to get another 2 laps in. Can Bazix do anything better than his current 6th place? No change there at the moment. A little bit of a change further down. I think that was Randy Flangepants getting a lap in there. He's there in 9th now. So who else have we got coming up towards the line? Looks like DB Kung. Well, Donardi's nipped into 2nd place where DB Kung was. Now this is DB Kung coming towards the line in his blue Ferrari there. Possibly a little bit wide there. Did that cancel his time? He crosses the line though. It's not gone any. Who else have we got coming towards the line? It looks like we've got Lager in the black Bentley there, heading towards the bus stop chicane. Can he go even quicker? He's got a 2:19.6 so far. Here we go, cross the line. Still 2:19.6. So we've got a little bit of a quiet patch. Oh, we've got Donardi in the blue and yellow Audi there. He's coming up to the line. Can he do anything about Lager up at the front there? 0.7 off at the minute. No, he's still 0.7 at the moment. So everyone a little bit bunched up around one side of the circuit. Who have we got there? We've got Bazix coming round Puon. And who we've got just behind him? Oh, somebody. Chicken Paxo, currently second in the championship. Looks like he's working round, maybe getting a toe off that Bentley in front of him. So we've got just over a minute remaining, so I don't think these drivers are going to get another lap in. They may just get back in time. They've got the run down through Stavelot and Blanchimont. They might just get it across the line in time to put one more lap in. Several drivers, Banff, Marge, Chris V-Dub and Randy are all in the pits, so they're done for their qualifying session. So you got, definitely looks to me like Chicken Paxo and that yellow and red Audi is using the Bentley in front of him for slipstream. So Bazix there is up to, yeah, they have run out of time, so Bazix has gone through, he's got it up to third. So DB Kung, can he do anything? He's just coming up to the bus stop chicane. Very, very tight. You're so eager to get your foot back on the throttle, and it will just either push you wide or spin you around. Let's see, he's fifth at the moment, so he's not improved on that occasion. So who's heading towards it? Oh, it looks like Stormfly. Now Stormfly hasn't actually got a lap time in yet, so at the moment he is way out there in 11th place. So this is his final chance. Dashes towards the line. Oh, goes sixth. So good last effort there from Stormfly. So not sure who's that coming to the line now. I think that's Rusty GT, who's just crossed the line. Oh, I don't know whether that was frustration or error, but he just caught the wall there. So that's it. That is our grid decided. So let's just get back to the garage so we can change view. So we've got Lager on pole, Donardi in second in the first of the Audis, then Bazix, great push there to split the two Audis there. He's there in third, so Chicken Paxo and the yellow Audi in fourth. DB Kung in fifth in the Ferrari. Couldn't quite pull off one of his great pole efforts there. Stormfly with that last minute effort got his Porsche up there to sixth. Banff in seventh in the second of the Bentleys. Oh, sorry, third of the Bentleys, because we have Lager with us tonight. And then Marge in the McLaren there in eighth. That's a good performance for me. I know he's had some frustration. And then Chris V-Dub, he's there in ninth. Randy in 10th. And then Brave Corporal in 11th. And Rusty GT, unfortunately, didn't actually get a lap in there, so he will start 12th. But it's a 1 hour race, so we have got plenty of time for things to change around. There is a compulsory pit stop, so that can obviously bring strategy into play, particularly with this circuit. For those of you who are familiar with it, the pit lane for this endurance series actually means they have to go through the pit lane for both the old pits and the modern Formula 1 pits. So very much a case there of having to make sure you don't make any errors and take an additional pit stop, because the time you can lose on it, I think I did calculate it once, it's nearly the best part of 60 seconds you lose just for trundling through the pit lane. So it's not one you want to make an error on. So let's just see. Not quite sure what the camera is doing for me here. It's creeping slowly down. I can see we're getting a little bit of chatter coming in on the YouTube, and we do like a bit of chat with us to get people to join in and have a little bit of banter. Maybe tell us who you think is going to win. Excuse me. So we will just we are in the wrong bit here, aren't we? Just excuse me. Will help. Unfortunately, I'm a little bit rushed here this evening. Whoa! So Ben Godden says welcome back, and Bazix says evening all. So there are two drivers who are competing. So yes, Rolfie is back and Rolfie is commentating. So let's just see who else is Donardi is complaining that the Audi doesn't like the hotter track temperatures, so getting the race club
30 seconds.
excuses book open sooner rather than later, which is also which is always something that I've worked on the basis of. Always make sure you got your excuses ready. Now apparently we do have a sponsor tonight, and that is for the formation lap, and that is by the legendary, the one, the only, the Dugster, Doug Idle apparently is sponsoring the formation lap for us, so we are very pleased to have Dugster about. I'm very, very pleased if I can see where the cars are going, because at the moment nothing seems to be happening. The time has run out. Things are going. Yes! Oh, everyone at home all breathe a sigh of relief, because I thought it had gone horribly pear-shaped there, but eventually it did catch up with itself. So that horrible hanging moment. So we'll just talk the cars around the track as they come up through Eau Rouge and then over that crest at the top, which is Raidillon. They then head up the Kemmel Straight, this long uphill straight where they up towards Les Combes. The original circuit used to carry on straight over the crest at the top and then round the left-hand bend. This circuit was originally, and I'm going to be corrected on this one, I think somewhere around about 9 miles long. It was like a massive triangle. Basically visited 3 different villages. But in the early 80s, for safety reasons, it was cut considerably shorter. And the cut starts here at Les Combes, where the drivers go through this right and left. And the entry to this corner is one of probably the better overtaking opportunities round this circuit, as you get a good run through Eau Rouge on the car in front of you, and then try and get that slipstream as you go up the hill. So this corner here, I'm going to call it Rivage. I know they've come up with a new name for it, but you know, I'm old school and I'm sticking with old names. But the downhill entry to this one does make it quite tricky. And we then come to the corner with no name, and then we're going down to one of the more exciting parts of the circuit, which is Pouhon, which is a really, really fast double left-hander. Now, you can possibly, if you get a good run through Pouhon up towards the Fan chicane, possibly get a run on somebody, but you've got to have a really good run round this corner. And the one thing you have to be careful around here as well is track limits, because you can easily run wide on the exit. So we're down through the Fagnes chicane, and then we come around to start joining the original part of the circuit. For those of you who want to keep track of who's pitted and who hasn't, if you look down the tower on your left hand side, the little orange box will turn green once the drivers have completed their pit stop. Silverstone Sim Racing, I'm not sure exactly which driver that is, but he's apologising for the shunt in practice to Ben, which is Chicken Paxo. So here we go. We come through campus, we're now into Stavelot, which joins us to the original circuit. And then we come up to one of the greatest corners in motor racing, the absolutely flat out left-hander Blanchimont. It is possible to try and see somebody pull off an overtaking manoeuvre here, but it can often end in tears. It's better, in my opinion, to get a good run through here. Blanchimont, here they come around this really, really fast left-hander, which for 2022 they've actually increased the runoff, so you can have a safer crash now. And then this is one of the other overtaking opportunities up to the bus stop chicane. Now, if people are wondering why it's called bus stop for younger readers, this circuit originally had was a road circuit, and there was a chicane put in that literally was like a bus stop, or more, I suppose in the UK we refer to it as a lay-by, but literally it was a left right in, left right out, like a lay-by. So they've kept that name for the the new chicane when they updated the circuit a few years ago. But here we go, eyes down, get ready for a full house. We're waiting for those green lights. Lager on pole, Donardi alongside, and Donardi, has Donardi got a good jump on him there? Oh no, because we're starting, oh I got all excited there, we're actually going to do the start down the old pit straight rather than the new one. I did forget about that. So they're all just getting in line now. Maximum speed of 70 kilometers an hour. You can see the start bridge there with the Total logo on. And we're off. Here we go, down towards Eau Rouge. Who's got the jump down into the first corner? It looks like Lager's got it. As they go through, can we all get through Eau Rouge safely? It looks like we have done so far. Nobody disappearing off the back of the crowd. Fantastic stuff. So up to the Kemmel Straight. Here goes Lager. He's out in front. In the background there, looks like Banff getting a little bit racy. Donardi slotted into second. Bazix in third. Chicken Paxo in fourth. Don't worry about the Totem on the left. It's going to have a bit of a wobbly until it sorts everybody's times out. So who's got left behind? Somebody did get left behind there. 42. Oh, I think that's Randy Flangepants. Unfortunately, it looks like he did have a bit of a moment there at Eau Rouge. He was towards the back of the field, so I don't think he took anyone with him. So Lager out into the lead, Donardi in second, Bazix third. So all very much as they started the race. Excuse me, we are just going to change cameras very quickly for you, just so we can get you a better shot. Here we go. So there we go. So Lager through in the lead as they go through the Fania chicane. Donardi still second, but Lager is already pulled out half a second there. Let's move back to Donardi, who is coming a little bit under pressure from Bazix, but in fact pressure wise probably the one that's closest is Chicken Paxo on Bazix. This is the battle for third. So it's Chicken Paxo there in the red and yellow Audi chasing the blue and yellow Bentley of Bazix as we head up towards the bus stop for the first time. So just remind you, this is a 1 hour race. There is no restriction on when they pit, so they can always go for an early stop, they can go for a late stop. It's completely up to them, but that will give us a little bit. Oh, and that was Chicken Paxo getting caught out a little bit at La Source hairpin there by Bazix. Had to take avoiding action. I think he was going to run into the back of Bazix, so had to back off there. So that has given Bazix a little bit of breathing space. Let's have a look back and see what action we've got a little bit further back. We've got a little bit of a battle here between Brave Corporal, Rusty and Stormfly. Now Stormfly definitely lost out at the start there, and it looks like Rusty is having a go there at Brave Corporal, and it looks like he's got the move done. It looked like Brave Corporal made some kind of mistake going through Eau Rouge, and Rusty's through now. It looks like Rusty's going to have a look at Chris VW as well. So heading to the Coombs there. The Lamborghini of Brave Corporal does look a little bit loose there. Oh, message from Ramp 73. This is PS4. We are moving to PS5 next season, but it's PS4 at the moment. So let's have a quick look back. Stormfly has dropped off the back of this pack, and the other one down there now must have made a mistake at the beginning is DB Kung. So we've got a few drivers here out of place, and both DB Kung and Stormfly we know have got good pace, but as they whiz through Pouhon, these two drivers are very, very much out of position. And DB Kung looks like he's got quite a bit of front damage on that Ferrari. Looked like he was suffering some oversteer there as they went through Pouhon. Oh, and somebody off on the side of the track there. Who was that? Oh, that looked like Rusty. Looked like Rusty may have made a mistake there. He was in a good battle there with a couple of drivers. So the one that is possibly one through on that one is Chris V Dub, because he's now up in 7th and he's catching Brave Corporal. I'm keeping an eye up on the front for you. At the moment it all looks fairly static. The only one that's looking a little bit close possibly is Chicken Paxo there on the back of Bazak. So Chicken Paxo, having made that little mistake into Lasauce hairpin, has now caught back up. So that's the red and yellow Audi on the blue and yellow Bentley. You think they'd have a broader colour palette here than yellow, wouldn't you? But there we go. It's a free country, they have what colours they want. Don't worry about the commentator, of course. So Chicken Paxo does seem to get very close towards the latter part of the lap, but it's not really getting close enough as we go up here, up Kemmel, because that's where he needs to be, under the rear wing of that Bentley in front of him. So let's move back. Let's see what Chris V Dub is up to. Well, it looks like Chris V Dub is taking a bit of a shortcut there, and that looks like Marge has gone off the track there in the background. Looked like maybe it had a little bit of a moment there at the top of Radion, which is generally fairly terminal if you have a bit of an incident there. But this little pack is getting close again. Chris seemed to be struggling to get the Porsche to rotate there, and he's now got Stormfly for company. DB Kong has gone for the pits, so I'd imagine this is going for an early stop, maybe repairing any damage he's had, and then hopefully that will shake him out somewhere a little bit further up the pack once all the other drivers come in, which they'll probably come in about 25 minutes, I would guess. Excuse me. So let's have a quick eye down. Who's moving close and back? Chicken Paxo still there in 4th, but there we go. That's Brave Corporal running really wide there at the second part of Pouhon, and then that's getting Chris. He's getting onto the grass, and then Stormfly in the other Porsche is trying to come down the inside. Brave Corporal goes wide again as they go through Fange. In the all green car is Chris V Dub. Stormfly's in the red and yellow Porsche. This is wheel-to-wheel stuff. Here we go. Through campus, we're heading down towards Stavelot. Now Stormfly will be eyeing up to get under the rear wing of that Porsche in front of him and see if he can do anything. Oh, can he do it before they get to Blanchimont? This will be Brave. Look at these two go. As we cut, that's the slight curve. Can Stormfly go right round the outside of Blanchimont? Yes, he can. What a manoeuvre. Absolutely fantastic stuff. That's Brave of the Brave. Can he get it stopped for the bus stop chicane? Chris V Dub must have thought, there's no way he's going to do that, but he did. Absolutely stuck it round the outside. Fantastic stuff there. So that puts Stormfly up to 6th and Chris V Dub down to 7. Now Chris V Dub coming up for a little bit of pressure behind from Brave Corporal. And looking forwards, Stormfly's got quite a bridge to cross to get up to Banff in 5th. So I don't know if he can get his head down. Now he's got some clear air. Obviously had a little bit of a problem at the start. Didn't do himself any favours with probably the best qualifying position. So he's now having to work a recovery mission from where he was at the start. So looking up the front, while these guys, I was going to say these guys have settled down, but it looks like Rusty GT is looking to get by Brave Corporal. I think for the second time. Brave Corporal across the curbs there. Got it all back together again, but that has let Rusty GT get really, really close. So Brave Corporal in the green Lambo there, making a couple of mistakes as he's coming under pressure from Rusty. And Brave Corporal's made another one. He runs wide there at Rivage. Rusty GT looking for the inside at No Name, can't make it stick. So down to Pouhon. It looks like Rusty's got a good exit from that one. Round Pouhon. Oh, he's got a good run as Rusty GT. He's looking for the inside, but Brave Corporal shut the door on that one. Can he go down the inside as they go to Fange? No, Brave Corporal's got it covered. So Rusty's going to have to go the long way round. Oh, Brave Corporal, the back tried to overtake the front, and Rusty GT didn't need a second invite. He's through and up to 8th place there. So we're getting some great battles in the midfield here at the moment. Now, just looking forward, Stormfly in sixth. Doesn't seem to be making great inroads into Banff in front of him. The gap's still around about 15 seconds. So whether he's going to try and do something on pit strategy to try and fix that. Oh, we've got somebody off there. I think, oh, it's Randy Flangepants. He's really not having the best night at the moment, but it's a long race. He hasn't had his pit stop yet, so it's still possible he could get his way a little bit up the order. We do get people that'll drop out and people that'll have to have additional pit stops. So these endurance races, it's always worthwhile keeping it going. And we're just coming into 1/6 race distance with just on 10 minutes gone. So let's have a quick look. What else have we got bubbling up? Brave Corporal hasn't let go there in the green and blue Lambo of Rusty GT quite yet, and Chris V Dub isn't that far up the road either. So Brave Corporal taking the economy route there through Radion, which you can get away with for a few occasions before you get the warning for track limits, and before you know it, you've suddenly got a drive through or a stop and go. Oh, Brave Corporal, I think you need to find a little, maybe just a little earlier on the brakes there. You just seem to be going a touch deep. I know it's always in calling you in to brake that little bit later and carry that bit more corner speed, but it unfortunately doesn't seem to be quite working for him at the moment. So let's just hop back up the front. We will tell you what we'll do. We'll jump on board with Lager, so we'll just see what the secrets are with the driver here. Now, Lager is somebody I've raced against and commentated on for quite a period of time, and he's an incredibly quick driver. Pulls timeouts that I think I've done all I can. I'll go around, I'm absolutely on the limit over every curb, and then this guy goes 2 or 3 seconds a lap quicker. And as we sit on board, it doesn't look like he's doing anything radical. It's not wild, but it's just quick, and sometimes the tidiest is the quickest. So he's pulled out a gap of a couple of seconds on Donardi, but let's just run for a lap. So this is round La Source, down the first gear. It's so difficult to get the power on hard and fast down here, but as soon as you get it up the second, third gear, you can be absolutely flat out. Now here we go. Let's see what we can do for Eau Rouge. We're holding it in fifth. Look at that, not even having to back off at all. That's just something I absolutely dream of. And then we're going to eventually pull sixth. There we go. So don't get an ultimate top speed here because we're dragging up the hill, and then just as that curb start, jam on the brakes, down to second gear, chunk of curb on the inside. Bit cautious of that curb, it can tend to turn you around, and then as we dive out down towards Rivage, we'll probably go down to about second gear, and we'll probably go for quite a late apex if we can here, pulling it back in. There we go, second gear, up to third, and then back to second. Always leaving it in third. Interesting, very easy to run wide here. Again, this is another area for track limits. And then here we go, this is the brave stuff, down through Pouhon. Take a bit of curb on the right there as you can on the entry. Just clip that curb on the left, run wide, then clip the curb again. Keeping that foot absolutely flat to the floor. Then brake just after the bridge. Here we go, down to second. Chunk of curb on the inside, and then another chunk of curb on this one. And then bang on the throttle, back up to campus. Then hard on the brakes, down to second gear. Now you can run wide on the exit here, and that gives you a good entry here to Stavelot, because that just means you carry speed all the way from here to the bus stop, and which is so critical. So here we go, up through the gears again. Should be pulling sixth any second now. And then wide on the curve with the entry on Blanchimont. Absolutely flat chat through there. And there we go. There's a white line in the road just after that. Ram on the brakes. Then here we go, down to first gear. Chunk of curb on the entry. Chunk of curb on the exit. And there we go. There's a lap of Spa-Francorchamps circuit for you. So let's just go back to our trackside cameras. There we go. So, unfortunately, we have lost somebody. So let's have a quick look and see if we can work out who it is. if viewers at home can spot who it is and let me know. We've got both Audis, we've got 3 Bentleys. Stormfly during there has actually dropped back again. So Stormfly is really making his job quite difficult. So, but I think it's going to give us a bit of entertainment because he is catching Chris V Dub again, and then he's got Rusty GT just in front of him. So the driver's down. We had Brave Corporal, we had the Frandy Flange Pants. Let me just have a quick look. Someone did send me a list. Marge, we've lost Marge unfortunately in the McLaren there, who I think had a little bit of an adventure. So I'll tell you what we'll do, we'll go on board with Stormfly because I think we're going to see some action here, because I think we want, there we go. So this is heading up towards Lake Coombe at the top of the circuit. As I mentioned before, just that gap in the trees there, the track used to go, sorry, slightly to the left there behind that Total banner, that's where the track used to go back in the 50s, 60s and 70s. So here we go, down to Rivage. Oh, we're going a little bit deep, but Chris V Dub's gone deep as well. Can we make it on the cutback? No, we can't quite do it. Chris V Dub gets away with it. So just trying to be cautious on the exit here, not run too wide. So down towards Pouhon. It looks like we're going to go for the inside here. No, we're not. Chris V Dub has got it covered in front of us. So can we do anything up towards the Fania chicane? We've got a good exit there. Chris V Dub doing the right thing. He's going defensive, leaving the car's width there. We can't make it round the outside on that occasion. So the next chance is probably at the bus stop chicane. So critical this section here, just to get the best exit, run across that curve as I mentioned earlier, get a wide exit into Stavelot, and then here we go. Have we got the driver? It looks like we are a bit quicker. We're closing. Here we go, right under the rear wing. We've gone wide, we've gone a little bit out of the track limits possibly there. And there we go, there's Chris V Dub behind him. We got the move done before Blanchimont. Absolutely fantastic stuff there. Wasn't expecting the move to be done that quick. So here we go, up into the bus stop chicane. So Stormfly's next target is going to be Rusty GT in 6th, who's about 4 seconds up the track. So we'll come back to them to see how he gets on with that one. He just needs to get a little bit of consistency, I think, the Stormfly. I think he's just making one or too many errors, and I think that's what's causing him to drop back down the field there. So up at the front, unseen by us, we've had a little bit of an error there by Bazux, I think, who was 3rd. He's dropped down to 5th, so Chicken Paxo there in the red and yellow Audi has moved up to 3rd. So I think Bazux must have made a mistake there, because he was up the front there and not a massive mistake, but he's now he was probably 2 seconds in front of Chicken Paxo, and so he's lost about 10 seconds somewhere. So but at the moment that means Rusty GT is up into 6th as well. So 2 drivers in here on for quite good results this evening. So let me just have a look at the chat to see if I can find anything's happening. No, not. So if there's anything you want to talk about YouTube chat with you guys watching at home, do apologise for the slight pauses. I am taking an awful lot of water on board to keep my throat from doing too much of that. So we are coming up towards a 3rd race distance, so we are shortly going to be looking at pit stops, I would imagine, for the majority of the field. The one who has pitted already is DB Kung, who had that damage early on in the Ferrari. We know he's a quick driver, so got himself in reasonably clear air. Who's he coming up behind? He's coming up behind Bazux, so he's coming out effectively in on the road, sort of 6th place, but a lap behind. But those drivers in front of him will all lose an awful lot of time. So I know that the pit lane loss is about a minute on its own. So I would imagine that he's going to bring him back up the order. Maybe not into the top 5, but I would imagine maybe 6th. So let's see how others are getting on. Who we got that's moving and shaking? So we've got Banff, who is just 2.5 seconds behind Chicken Paxo. Now I think that gap has been fairly consistent, if I'm honest. So he doesn't seem to be able to do anything to pull that one in. The one thing that might bring people in, as you can see by the long shadows, we are going into the evening and the time is accelerated, so we should see the light failing and the temperature dropping, and that could bring in different factors to play for the drivers, because if they haven't got their pressures correct, they could be suddenly finding they're a bit like Bambi on ice and not able to generate the level of grip they have early on. So that could well shake up the order, because the top 5 really aren't that far apart at the moment. There is sort of a few seconds gap here and there, but it's not massive, and in these longer races it can suddenly close up. So with the sun disappearing, the temperature is going to drop fairly rapidly, I would imagine. So who have we got that might give us a look? Oh, hello. Oh, that's Brave Corporal there. I think Brave Corporal might have had a bit of an adventure there. It looks like he may be going for the pits. It looked like he was having a problem. Yeah, here we go. He's heading for the pits. Randy Flangepants is in the pits already. But I think, from the damage to that car, I think Brave Corporal has had one of those exciting moments you get when if you get it wrong coming out of Blanchimont, and you can end up, yeah, look at the state at the front of that car. You through that flat out left, that Blanchimont, you get it wrong, you think you cause it, and then all of a sudden you're in the pit wall. Sorry, you're in the side wall of the track, and it looks like that's what's happened to Brave Corporal. But because of this sort of, we're 22 minutes into the race already, that's not too disastrous, because this just really replaces his normal stop. The main difference will be he's going to have probably a good minute or so of repairs to fix that car, because by the way it's driving, I don't think the steering on it is that good. So I think it's going to take a little while for that one to be repaired. So he's just working his way down towards the old pits. Of course, back in the good old days before health and safety came along. Oh dear, it looks like he's caught the pit wall on the way in. It looks like he's actually done it twice, which is a bit painful. I think we need a bit of right hand lock there, Corporal. Yeah, there we go, bounce it off the wall. Days 4 health and safety took over, of course. We didn't even bother with pit walls, and these pits on the right just opened straight out onto the track. Yeah, I think there's something definitely wrong with the front end of that Lamborghini, because look at the tyre mark it's leaving as it drives down the pit lane. Oh, now the other side's leaving a tyre mark. So, yeah, I think that's not a well car in any way, shape or form. So, before he's got there, Randy Flangepants has actually completed his pit stop. So, his Bentley is looking particularly new, fresh and shiny, so that's had all the repairs done. But he has come out behind DB Kung. So we are going to see some shuffling probably over the next 10 to 12 minutes as these lead drivers come in to do their pit stops. And obviously if any of them have picked up a bit of damage on the way, one of which I can think of maybe Bazak, because he's dropped down, that will cost them time in the pit stop if they decide to get it repaired. So it could well become a bit of an expensive mistake, that one, for Bazak's. So let's have a quick look up and down the field. What have we got? So we've got Randy Flangepants there. He's now completed his pit stop and also that small trip to the gravel. So we'll move back up to the front. Oh, we're getting a bit of a chap in. Silverstone Sim Racing, you're you're brave corporal, so thank you for that one. It's the least I know who you are now. Oh, it was Eau Rouge you had the accident, right? I was thinking where I saw you trundling along the side of the track. I thought you had decided to do it at Blanchimont, which is obviously a bit more convenient if you're heading for the pits. It must have been quite a trek round for you to get back from Eau Rouge Raidillon, but yes, it can be quite painful. Your good news is, for the 2022 season, they have moved the tyre walls back at Raidillon and Eau Rouge, so you've got less chance of collecting something. So, but obviously that will be a little while before that's updated in the ACC. So here we go. So we've got Lager still out in front, running very much in a Scalextric kind of style there. Got a 4.3 second gap out onto Donardi. Knowing the amount of racing that Lager does, I would imagine he may be using this as a test session. He's not one of the regular championship contenders in this race club series, so he may well be using this as a test for another championship, but we're obviously happy to welcome him on board, giving a good demonstration on how it should be done. So he will be looking to pit, I would imagine, in the next 5 or 6 minutes. So we'll just pop back to Brave Corporal, who has completed his repairs and is out of the pit stop, but I don't quite understand why he's not showing as having completed a pit stop. Maybe because he didn't change the tyres. I'm not sure what the reason is for that one, but he is back out on track and looking at a much more complete car there. So Rusty GT, while we've got all that to and froing, he's just coming out the pit lane now. It doesn't look like he's done any bodywork repairs, but I think they're just superficial. So interestingly, Rusty has come out in front of DB Kung. So DB Kung, we know, had a little bit of an adventure at the start and had that damage. So Rusty GT is just going through LeCombe there, and DB Kung is just going through Eau Rouge. So there's probably about 15 to 20 seconds between the two at the moment. So I would say DB Kung, we know, has got some good pace, and I'm not knocking Rusty GT, but on an out-and-out pace, I think DB Kung is a little bit quicker. So is it possible that DB Kung could start to get himself a little way back up the order? So that's 3 of the pit stoppers done. Why? Like I say, I'm not quite sure why Brave Corporal's box has not turned green. Because he was definitely in the pit, so I would not be quite sure as to why his light hasn't gone from orange to green, but I'm sure that'll be one for the stewards afterwards. So who we got likely that's going to try and do something pit stop wise? We could look, somebody could be looking for a bit of an undercut. So let's hop back with Lager, because he's coming up towards the pits now. The other thing, obviously, because it's not too bad because we've only got 11 cars on track. Oh, Brave Corporal's gone back to the pits. This is presumably to try and get his light to turn green. And Lager has not gone for the pits on this lap, so next lap will be virtually bang on the halfway. Looks like somebody in the background there has gone into the pits. I think, okay, so Donardi's pulled the trigger on the pit stops. So this potentially could be trying to get the undercut on Lager. He was running about 4.5 seconds behind, so this is a big ask, but it depends how he's playing the pit stop. Because I'm not sure whether they need to do tyres and fuel, because if it's only fuel, you can have a much quicker pit stop. So I wonder whether that is something Donardi is possibly going to do. We're not going to see he's through the F1 pits, and he's now trundling down the hill to the old pits. So we'll also get an idea of how far back round the circuit Lager will get before Donardi comes out of the pit lane there. As you can see, this is absolutely painful, because Lager is already heading down towards Pouhon, and Donardi is literally coming to a stop now. So before he's even stopped, Lager has done nearly half a lap. So I can't imagine there's going to be an awful lot to do in the way of damage or anything like that. Oh, who else have we got in the pits? Oh, Chris V-Dub is in the pits as well. Bit of shot blast damage on the front of the Porsche there. So he's pulled the trigger on that one. Now the one we need to watch with him is probably Rusty GT there in 8th, because they were quite close. And Brave Corporal was quite close as well earlier on. But unfortunately he's had that incident at Eau Rouge Raidillon, so he's fallen out of that battle. But I think this one could be quite lively as timing wise between Chris V-Dub and Rusty GT, so we'll hop back to that in a minute. But out of the pits now is Denardi. Where's Lager in it? So Lager's going through the bus stop chicane, so he's decided not to pit this lap, so we will hop down. But what it has done for Lager, he's still in clear air at the moment, so he's not going to get held up by anybody. It looks like we've got another couple of cars possibly coming to the pit lane. No, I'm mistaken on that one. So the only one there at the moment is Rusty GT. So Rusty's coming out of La Source down the hill, still carrying that damage, as you can see, to that grey and white Ferrari there. But Chris V-Dub is still in the pit lane. Is he rolling? No, he's not rolling as yet at all. So Rusty GT is through and up to 7th there. He's over the top of Raidillon and up the Kemmel Straight already. So somebody has gone for the pits, and that is Bazix from 4th place. Now, Bazix may have a little bit of damage because he had that incident earlier on that we didn't actually see, which dropped him from 3rd down to 5th. So we'll keep an eye on where he comes back out, because the other driver that he should plug in behind is Denardi, so we'll see how that timing works out. Now Chris V-Dub is out, but he's come out behind DB Kung, so DB Kung is moving forward at the moment. I don't think he's that far behind. Oh, he's about 20 seconds behind Rusty GT by the look of it. So where's Rusty? Rusty's going through Pouhon. Yeah. So about 22 seconds. So DB Kung could do something about Rusty possibly. I don't see him potentially getting any higher. And the one where I'm not sure where he's going to come out at the moment is Stormfly, because he's been up and down the totem pole like a yo-yo, to be honest with you, and with a couple of incidents he got further forward then fell back, so I'm not quite sure where he's going to plug back in. I think he might be somewhere around about 7th or 8th when he comes out of the pits, so I think he's still parked up at the moment. Yes, he is. So Bazix is away and rolling. So where is Rusty coming through? So Rusty's coming through bus stop chicane. So we've got, once they've completed Stormfly's pit stop, that'll be all bar 3 that have finished their, that have done their pit stops. So Brave Corporal's back out on track, that's great to see. So a little bit behind there, but it's an endurance race, so he needs to hang on in there. So Stormfly is rolling. So this is going to be tight between Stormfly. There we go. There's Rusty GT going through, and that's Stormfly coming out the pits, and that looks like, I think that was Denardi going through there as well. So was that Denardi? No, that was Chicken Paxo going through there, but he hasn't pitted as yet. So the current leader of those that have pitted is Denardi. It's still in front of Bazix, but the one that is doing well there at the moment is Rusty GT. So he's through there in what I would say is a genuine 6th at the moment in the white and grey Ferrari. He decided not to repair the bodywork damage, and that has paid off to him. He's got a 6-second lead on Stormfly at the moment. Ignore the car behind him because that's Chicken Paxo. He hasn't pitted as yet. And talking to pitters, Banff has just gone for the pits from 3rd place. So Chicken Paxo is staying out there at the moment. He's only halfway round the lap, so it's only the two leaders that haven't pitted as yet, with just under 26 minutes to go. So what developing battles have we got? We've got a few coming out from pit stops. I'm just trying to think. Larger, I don't think he's going to be overly challenged unless he's had some damage that's going to cause him a problem. Oh, Chicken Paxo getting a bit wide there. Maybe he's taking the life out of those tyres. Now he is coming up on traffic there, which is Rusty GT in front of him, so it's probably an opportune moment for him to decide to go for the pits rather than get involved in the battle. As we found, I think it was Donati and it possibly was Rusty that had it coming together. No, Chicken Paxo rightly not taking the commentator's advice there and staying out. So he's possibly trying to go for a later pit stop. Maybe that's to do with tyre pressures. Maybe he's only changing, only adding fuel. Means he'll get a quicker pit stop, but he will have more worn tyres. So what have we got going on? We've got Lager has gone for the pits. So he's rolling down towards the old pits there. So our leader's in the pits. So Chicken Paxo will take on the lead from there. Now the one we want to see is where's Donati. So Donati is just coming up to campus. I don't think that's going to be enough to get him out in front of Lager once Lager has pitted. I may be wrong, but I don't think on this occasion that I am. The only thing that could dramatically change things is the temperature drops. Will the tyre pressures go away from some of the leading drivers? So Lager Fanny, I think he's only going to stop for the minimum 30 seconds and then be away again, because I can't see any reason why he would need to do any repairs. So let's see where Donati is. Donati's just coming up to La Source, and Lager is already out of the pits. Right, has to stay to the right of the white line. Car's looking a bit leery there, but that's just a connection issue. So that's Lager going through there, and Donati is just coming over the top of Radion. So I would say that's somewhere in the region of about an 8 to 9 second gap. We will find out in a minute. At the top of the hill when they cross the first timing beam. 10-second gap there. So I think Lager pretty much has got this one in the bag. The only unknown we've got at the moment is where is Chicken Paxo, who has literally just gone for the pit lane. Where is Chicken Paxo going to fall out in this? We would expect him to drop out between Donati and Banff for third place. But there's obviously been a bit of a time gap in when people have gone for the pits. So this may well change the order, or at least bring people close together. So where is the most likely one that he's going to... Of course, he could always go forward. He might come out in front of Donati. It just depends how efficient his pit stop is. Is he putting fuel tyres on as well? We don't know that until we see how long he's stationary in the pits. Just while he's run down the pits there, I'll just have a look back at Stormfly, who is still 6 seconds behind Rusty GT. So he doesn't seem to be making any massive inroads into Rusty at the moment. And nor does DB Kung, who has made a few steps forward up to 8th, but that gap to Stormfly doesn't seem to be reducing. And with just over 21 minutes to go, I don't see that unless one of those drivers in front of him makes a mistake, I don't see that there's going to be anything that's going to allow him to catch in the normal course of things. However, one of the drivers in front of him could do a Charles Leclerc, and obviously that would shake up the order. So let's see where Denardi is. So Denardi is just barreling down the hill towards Eau Rouge. So he's through ahead of Chicken Paxo. So Chicken Paxo at best is in third. Now the one that might be tight is Banff. So it looks like Chicken Paxo is rolling, and this is going to be tight. Here we go. That's Banff going through Eau Rouge and over the top, and I think any second now we are going to see. There we go. He's got it. Banff has got in front of Chicken Paxo. So this has really lit the fireworks with just 20 minutes remaining. We weren't expecting that, but Banff has got through on Chicken Paxo through the pit stop phase there. So great stuff there, but by Banff in the Bentley, but he's only got 1.6 seconds on Chicken Paxo, so I think this is going to get lively fairly quickly, because Chicken Paxo has got slightly fresher tyres, and that should mean that he should be able to wind his way back up onto the rear of Banff there. But then of course we have seen these frontline drivers, when they're pushing that a little bit harder, making little mistakes, and then that does become very costly. So who was that off at? I was just trying to see, there was somebody off at, I think it was Stormfly actually. I think after all my comments about how it was stable, Stormfly I think has had a bit of a moment at Eau Rouge. He has got going again. That car looks very, very loose, so I don't know if it's suffered a bit of damage, but look behind him, there is the blue Ferrari of DB Kung almost in the same shot. So I don't think he will be able to hold him off. So just changing my camera shots there for you, just to improve your viewing at home, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, DB Kung will now be on a mission, I think, to try and catch VR46 Stormfly, because Stormfly's definitely made a mistake there. That gap was about 15 seconds before, it's now 2.5. So as often with these battles, things get... Oh, and Denardi's in the pits. Oh, Denardi's had an accident. Oh my God, this has thrown everything upside down. Look at the state of the front of that Audi. He's got it horribly, horribly wrong. So Banff is up into second place, Chicken Paxo third. This will completely spoil. This is our championship leader, ladies and gentlemen, in the wall. So this is possibly handing the championship lead to Chicken Paxo. It will all depend on where Denardi comes out, because he's going to be in for at least 30 seconds plus the repair time. He may not replace the tyres, so that will improve the timing slightly, but I don't know what happened there, but he has had quite a moment. Excuse me, I'm hoping my voice is going to last another 17 minutes. I'm not quite sure I can put any guarantees on it though. So let's go back to the battle on the track, which is Chicken Paxo trying to catch Banff. Now, Lager is not a driver who is competing in the overall championship, so he is not really a factor championship-wise. So, but Chicken Paxo, with Denardi down at least in 6th at the moment, he's got a good chance to pull out a haul of points on his Audi teammate. Oh, and who's that? Oh, and Denardi's got a stop and go 30 seconds in the pit lane as well. It's just gone from bad to worse to just completely horrible. So it is really fallen apart from Denardi. He was sat in a cheerful second place there, then damaged his car, came in, repaired it, come out, has now got a stop and go for speeding in the pit lane. It couldn't really get much worse. He's down to 9th already, and I think this is going to put him down even further. He's only 6 seconds at the moment behind Chris V Dub, but he's got to go and serve that penalty. Now, just hopping back, as it all went quiet mid-race, and then of course it's all now starting to come up to a nice simmering boil, that DB Kung had that great chance to catch up chunks of time on Stormfly after Stormfly's incident at Eau Rouge, but he doesn't seem to be able to make much inroads there because he was about 15 seconds behind. Stormfly had that incident, he caught up by about 13 seconds, but he seems to be stuck there, and if anything, Stormfly is actually pulling away. So DB Kung, our pole meister for 2 or 3 rounds, doesn't seem to certainly have the pace on tonight to keep up with the ultimate front runners. So talking about front runners, we've got for the de facto win even, Chicken Paxo working on Banff, because the gap was about 2 seconds. It's now down to 1.1 with going just ticking down to 15 minutes to go, so we're at 3/4 race distance. It's whether Chicken Paxo can do anything about that Bentley of Banff, because that is effectively a default win for Banff championship wise, and that will obviously help him in his battle there for 3rd place within the championship. As Lager hasn't actually competed in any of the other rounds, he will score points unless he decides to pull in the pits on the last lap. He will score points, but he won't realistically be a factor within the championship. So Paul Donardi's back in the pits again. It can't get much worse for him surely now. But this battle between Banff and Chicken Paxo, there's no quarter given at all. The gap between them is really not changing. Let's see as we go up towards the finish line. Was 1.1. Oh well, that wasn't changing. It's now 0.6. So I'll tell you what we're going to do. We are going to jump on board with Chicken Paxo, so we can see the view from his point of view. As you see, his lights are on, the reflections on the track there. Interesting to see with the Audi there, he's just having a feather the throttle slightly at the bottom of Eau Rouge there, whereas when we rode on board with the Bentley of Lager, he was absolutely flat out. So let's see how the gap is going to change here. So he's interested that Bentley seems to have the speed up the straight, because he's pulled that gap back out to over a second, but now we get into the twisty bits, the Audi is closing up again. Here we go down to Rivage. So difficult as the track pulls away as you're trying to brake. The car goes light and you're trying to brake, and it's just so easy to lock 1 or 2 wheels up, and then of course as soon as you've got the wheels locked up, it's not doing its best at braking, and you just carry on straight. So here we go through Pouhon. See at the top left hand corner where the number is flickering green and then red, that Chicken Paxo is on his fastest lap pace, so there's no quarter given here at all. So they are coming up on a lap car. That is Randy Flangepants, who we have had odd occasions where he has not got out of the way the quickest, not intentionally. There was a bit of just a mistake on his behalf, so this could produce a factor. Here we go. Here's the problem again with this Audi we ride on board with against the Bentley. We can see disappearing of Banff's in front, that it just got so much grunt down the straights. The Bentley, but makes overtaking so difficult. So we go through the bus stop again. We've got just 11.5 minutes remaining. So we go down to the source. See the Audi closing up, and then just that grunt of the Bentley in front just disappears off. Now the Bentley in front is going to get... Oh no! Round we go! Round we go! that's just the one thing I talked about earlier. You can just make that slight mistake, and before you know it, it's round. And look who's coming in the background. That's Bazux. So, having looking for second place there, Chicken Paxo suddenly is coming under pressure. He hasn't got the. He's trying to still get back up to speed, and here comes Bazux. He's looking for that third place back. So from being the aggressor, Chicken Paxo is now the defender, because he's there in the red and yellow Audi, and he's getting under big pressure from Bazux in fourth in the Bentley. So it's gone from one extreme to the other. The Audis were having a great time about a quarter of an hour ago. Now it's all gone horribly pear-shaped, and this could be looking at a Bentley 1, 2, 3. So let's just have a quick look down the field, see if we've got anything else developing. DB Kung in 7th is dropping away from Stormfly in 6th. So that battle seems to have settled, and it looks like this battle here, as we just drop under 10 minutes to go, I think this is the battle of the field at the moment. Now, obviously Chicken Paxo wouldn't have done the Audi's tyres a lot of good with that spin, so this is Bazux's chance to strike while all the tyres are hot, and then Bazux overdrives it. He's run wide on the exit of Stavelot. So as we've already seen, the Bentley has great grunt down the straight line, so can Bazux, now he's within shooting distance of Chicken Paxo's Audi, can he use that Bentley grunt to make a passing manoeuvre? So I would guess we've probably got 4 laps left. So just 0.8 of a second the gap between Chicken Paxo and Bazux. So this is where the Bentley is going to come into its own with a grunt down through Eau Rouge, and as we've seen, the first place Bentley's able to go through there absolutely flat out. So if Bazux can do the same, by the top of the hill he could be putting some pressure onto Chicken Paxo as they go into Lake Hume. Looks like the gap is coming down a bit. Here we go, through the first time section was 0.8, now 0.7. So I think a lot of that, oh no, Bazux going crash bang wallop over the curbs there. Possibly got caught out with a bit of slipstream from the Audi in front, and he went into that Lake Hume a bit quicker than he expected. So looking further down the field, doesn't look like there's anything else bubbling up. We will just hop on. Just remember we do have a leader there in the black Bentley. He's really got into his stride now. The cars behind him, like Donardi and Chicken Paxo, and to be fair, Bazux, all sort of tripped over themselves. So he is almost through the final chicane. Yeah, he's nearly 30 seconds up the road from Banff. So in how many, just reminding myself whether or not, so in 22 laps he's about a second a lap on average quicker. It is painful, isn't it? Just going back to the Bazux Chicken Paxo battle, it looks like Chicken Paxo through that middle section of the lap has pulled out quite well on Bazux this time. He's got the gap up to about 1.7, so for that straight line excuse me, that straight line grunt of the Bentley, I'd imagine Chicken Paxo is in far enough in front to be able to hold him off now. Yeah, and that gap's now extended to 2 seconds. So now that's settled out, let's have a move back through some of the other drivers. So Banff there in second. He's come through well, mainly I think by not making mistakes. I think the Chicken Paxo and the Bazux and Donardi around him have made mistakes, and Banff hasn't, so those guys have fallen away. So It's not necessarily about being the out-and-out quickest. He's kept it on the track, not made mistakes. Now, this could, of course, be commentator's curse, but we've only got a few minutes left. So, Chicken Paxo, we saw have that spin and luckily didn't collect anything through Eau Rouge. So that's only in real terms not actually cost him a position, because he got going again and has managed to fend off Bazux for now. So as long as he does, it's not actually cost him too badly. So Bazux, made that mistake earlier on in the race when he was running up there, I think in third. So that dropped him back. So he has worked his way back up to fourth, helped a little bit obviously by Donardi having that incident and then that penalty for the pit lane speeding. So, Stormfly's gone for the pits. Now, I'd imagine this is probably a splash and dash. This may be a fuel issue, but that is going to help DB Kung and possibly Chris V Dub, I would imagine, as well. Where's Chris V Dub on the track? Yeah, Chris V Dub is just going down the pit straight, and you can see in the background there Stormfly in the pits. So that certainly helped out a few drivers there. I would imagine that was a shortage of fuel. But going back to where he was running through the field, Rusty GT there, I think he's going to be quite chuffed with that 5th place, because I think that might be his best. No, he had a 4th at the second race at Brands Hatch, so that's his second best result if he finishes there in 5th. DB Kung had a few adventures early on, was at the back of the field. Oh no, who have we lost? Oh, VR46, unfortunately. He was nearly there, only 4 minutes to go, but he has just dropped off the list there. But going back to DB Kung, earlier races of the season, he was having some cracking rounds, pulling out some stunning lap times, particularly in qualifying, and had, I think, 1, possibly 2 wins. I can just refer to my older notes on this one. Yeah, he won the second race at Laguna Seca. Fell to the back of the field early on tonight, had an early pit stop, but has kept going and he's worked his way back up to 6th. Chris V Dub was there. He's the magician with the controller. He was there early on in some good battles with Rusty GT and Brave Corporal and VR46, and I think he didn't particularly have any major adventures that I noticed, but he has sort of come out of the back of that little midfield battle. And Randy Flangepants, he's somebody that, perfect demonstration of just keep plodding away. He may not be the fastest on track, but he's not last. He's currently 8th, and Donardi is 26 seconds behind him with probably only 2 laps to go. So I think he is probably going to be on for a good result there. I think that's his well, he's not his best result was a 6th in the Suzuka 1 hour, so he tends to have good results in these 1 hour races. And then finally at the back, Brave Corporal, who had that massive accident at Eau Rouge, unfortunately means he had to pit and then didn't satisfy all the requirements of the pit stop, and so had to go and pit again. So he had a bit of a Donardi moment there. So he's currently running at the back in 10th place. And for some reason I dropped over Donardi there, who was running quite cheerfully in 2nd place, and then unseen by us had quite a spectacular accident because there was significant damage to the front of that Audi and had to return to the pits for repairs. He's then left the pits but exceeded the speed limit, so had to return for a drive-through, or sorry, stop and go. So that has cost him dearly, and he is our championship leader, and has cost it extremely dearly because I think with Chicken Paxo in 3rd and him down in 9th, he will have lost the championship lead. So that will be one costly accident there. Oh no, and with just as we go, it may not be as costly as he thought it was going to be, because Chicken Paxo has had yet another moment at Eau Rouge. He's got going again. That's Randy Flangepants in the background, so it's not going to affect him too much. But that looks like it's Bazux coming up behind him as well. So he's got an extremely damaged car there, and there's 1 minute left on the time. So where's Lager on this? Lager is, I don't know, he might just cross the finishing line, so there might be an extra lap to go. But Chicken Paxo is in the gravel, and I think he's just been overtaken. He has. Chicken Paxo's just been overtaken by Bazux, so Bazux is there going round Rivage, and Chicken Paxo is through just behind him. So this is played a little bit into Donardi's hands here, and then that's Brave Corporal catching up on Chicken Paxo, but that'll only be to effectively unlap himself. So that is going to be a Bentley 1-2-3. Let's just see where Lager is with the time, and Lager is doing a slow run to the finishing line, so he doesn't have to do another lap, or he's going to wait for everybody. I think he's decided to stop just shy of the line, so he's going to let the championship contenders go through. So the first one of those is Banff. So Banff has gone through, he takes first place. Bazux, he's going to snatch through a second place that he wasn't expecting literally a few minutes ago, because Chicken Paxo had one moment in Eau Rouge, got away with it, and then he had another. So that's Randy Flangepants coming through first. He's going to come through and complete his race in 8th place, and then we're going to have Bazux coming through next. So Lagerfani has gone through, has actually crossed the line in 2nd. Bazux has come through in 3rd, so that is a Bentley 1-2-3. Now Chicken Paxo with a decidedly second-hand Audi R8 there, and is going across the line side by side with Donardi, who was quite a way back. So we've got Rusty GT, he's coming through in 5th. Unfortunately wasn't able to capitalise on that late race mistake by Chicken Paxo. So DB Kung is coming up to the bus stop chicane for the final time. So he's going to cross the line in 6th place, and then coming up to the line, by no means not last, he's in 7th place, is Chris V Dub. Heads round Blanchimont for the last time. And there's one thing can't mention enough, that you might see little jiggy movements by Chris's car there, and that's because he's using the controller. He's not using a proper driving or racing rig that all the other drivers are. And there we go, there he goes, crossing the finishing line there as the last one to complete race distance. So there we go, there's your top 12. Oh, and a big sideways moment there by Chris V Dub. Well, likes to get a bit of value there. So Banff is your winner. 2nd is Lager. 3rd is Bazux. 4th is Chicken Paxo. Rusty in 5th. DB Kung in 6th. Chris V Dub spinning away on your screen there in 7th. Randy Flangepants, good recovery there to 8th. Donardi, after those adventures, he finished 9th. Stormfly with that late disconnection, he finished 10th, and then Brave Corporal in 11th and Marge in 12th. So hopefully everyone's enjoyed that. I've been Rolfie. We are doing this every Tuesday, usually start at 8:30, and that's where I usually start my commentary. We'll be back here again next week, so hopefully you've enjoyed watching and listening. And if you have, hopefully you'll click that like and subscribe button, and then you'll get notifications of when we are on next. And if you want to get involved in the racing, get on to Facebook, look up Race Club UK, join the Facebook group, and find out how you can get involved. We've got 4 races left of this season, so it will be great to see you on track, and I'd love to commentate on you. So hopefully see you all soon.